Hey guys, Attorney Marc Victor here. I am the owner of the Attorneys for Freedom law firm. So today, I'm going to review the US LawShield program. I got their contract right here. So let's get into the US LawShield contract. It's online. This is the same contract you can look at. And again, this is my opinion of their contract. And so read it for yourself. Generate your own opinion. And you can follow along. I'm looking at page 5 of the contract. By the way, it looks like this, pretty simple. It says Linden Southern Insurance Company at the top. That is the US LawShield program. Leads right off with an insurance company. So one of my favorite places to take a look at the contract, you probably didn't read the fine print if you've already signed up in this program, but I encourage you to read it. Take a look at section 5, limitations and exclusions. Section A, here's what it says. In order for a member or covered person to receive the benefits described in this policy, at the time of a use of weapon incident occurs, the member or covered person must be, number 1, in legal possession of a weapon. And number 2, at the time of the use of a weapon, the member must be in a location where member or covered person could legally possess a weapon. All right, so 2 big exclusions here, right? You got to be in legal possession of a weapon. Well, there's lots of ways you might not be in legal possession of a weapon. You may not even know this. If you have a weapon and there's a problem with the serial number, say it's scratched off or it's hard to read, that might be considered an illegal weapon. Is there a problem with the length? There are restrictions on how long or short the barrel of certain firearms can be. Is it a fully automatic? You might say, no, it's not really a fully automatic, but if you're keeping up on lots of gun issues across the country, you know, little, what I would say, ridiculous modifications to firearms, deem them under the current construction that ATF is putting out to the public, a fully automatic weapon. So if you're in possession of one of these weapons, could be considered an illegal weapon. And it sure seems to me that under the wording of this contract, no coverage whatsoever. But then also you must be in a location where you can legally possess a weapon. That seems like not such a big deal. But again, there's lots of things happening right now with the Bruin case, right? Government buildings are generally places where you can't take a firearm. What if you have an incident there? Courts, lots of schools are places that you are prohibited from taking weapons to. What if you have an incident there? No coverage under my reading of this contract. Also, there are many other areas, as you may know if you're following the litigation surrounding the Bruin decision. The Bruin decision left open the question of what's a sensitive place? Well, lots of states are now trying to define lots of areas as sensitive places. Places like parks, even private property, if the owner doesn't put up a sign that says guns allowed. Well, if you find yourself in one of these places and in your state that's considered a sensitive place or a place where you cannot have a firearm, you have an incident there, no coverage under my reading of this contract. All right, so we're just getting warmed up here. Page 6, the exclusions continue. I'm looking at subsection E, by the way. So this is section 5, subsection E. I want to read it to you. This policy specifically excludes legal representation in criminal or civil matters arising from the covered person's possession of a weapon in violation of local, state, or federal laws, or in the commission of any crime for which justification under state law is inapplicable. Basically, it reads to me like if you commit a crime, you do something in violation of a state law, or a federal law, or a local law, no coverage. Now, the person on the phone may tell you something different if you call this company and ask them. Point them to this section. Why is this section in here? The section's in here because the insurance company can't insure against illegal acts. It excludes representation in criminal matters in which the weapon is used in violation of a state, local, or federal law. Well, guess who thinks you were in violation? If you're charged with a crime, and that's why you bought this policy in the first place, then a prosecutor or a grand jury thinks you're in violation of a law. That's what it means to be charged with a crime. Does that mean that US LawShield can exclude coverage under this contract? Maybe. I don't know. We don't have that problem as a law firm. So we don't have to have a section in our fee agreement that says anything like that. Okay, Section F, moving right along. Domestic violence cases, tons of them. How do these problems come up? Lots of times they come up when you have an issue with an ex-wife, an ex-girlfriend, an ex-boyfriend, somebody who lives in the same house. What's a domestic violence situation? Something that happens in your home, but something that could happen outside your home, maybe with an ex-wife, an ex-husband, an ex-boyfriend, an ex-girlfriend, somebody with a familial relationship. This is a really common type of a situation where you can have some kind of an issue. Something like that arises under the US LawShield contract, no coverage. Let me read it to you. Subsection F. This policy specifically excludes providing legal representation by a plan attorney for an incident, criminal investigation, or prosecution arising from the use of a weapon by the member or covered person against the member or covered person's current or former family member, household, or dating relationship as defined in the state statutes or other applicable state law. So you have a problem and you need to exercise your right to self-defense and it's against one of the people listed in that. No coverage whatsoever. Pretty big exclusion. The Attorneys on Retainer program has no such exclusion. No problem under Attorneys on Retainer. Big problem with US LawShield. Okay, Section 6. So this is my favorite section of the US LawShield contract. Get it for yourself, read it for yourself, draw your own opinions. I'm looking at Section 6 of the contract, subsection B. It's on page 6 of the contract. You thought you got to pick your lawyer? That's the whole reason you signed up in this program, right? So you would have a good lawyer on retainer in case you had a problem. That's what you thought. That's not what the program here says. That's not what's in their contract. Let me read it verbatim for you. The plan attorneys shall be selected by insurer for members and covered persons, period. What does that mean? That means they get to pick the attorney, not you. You got nothing to say about the attorney under the US LawShield program. But they do give you an option here, and this is a really fun read. Let me read it to you. No member or covered person is required to consult with or be represented by a plan attorney. Oh, great. So you signed up in this program, they selected the attorney, and guess what? You're not required to consult with the attorney that they provided for you. Okay, fair enough. But then it goes on. Each member and covered person is free to consult with any attorney of their choice about any matter. That sounds really good, including matters covered by this policy. Wow, even better. At the member's or covered person's sole expense. What? You mean you have the right to consult with another attorney of your choice at your expense? Did I read that right? Read it for yourself. Member or covered person shall be responsible for all attorney's fees, costs, and expenses of this different counsel and shall receive no reimbursement under this contract. Insurer will not pay attorney's fees to any other attorney other than a plan attorney. Man, could that be more clear? You sign up in US LawShield and they pick the attorney. You have a right to select the attorney of your choice at your expense. Wow, isn't that comforting? So who's the attorney they're picking for you? This contract doesn't say what the criteria is that they're going to select an attorney. My guess is they're probably not paying top dollar for some attorney to contract with them to represent you. What's the experience level of this person? How long has this person been practicing? Who qualifies to be a plan attorney under this program? Well, there's some other fun things in here on this very point. If you go to page 7, section 9, under general provisions, you get a little bit more information about the plan attorney that US LawShield is going to select for you. Take a look at subsection A of Section 9. I'm going to read it to you verbatim. The insurer, as part of the implementation of this policy, enters into agreements with plan attorneys who have agreed to provide services to members or covered persons under the conditions under each agreement. What are the conditions? Doesn't tell us what the conditions are. These are the conditions that the contract attorney has contracted with US LawShield or the insurance company to provide services. But it goes on. In none of these instances does the insurer stand in the position of guarantor as to the, you ready for this? Honesty, proficiency, accuracy, or resourcefulness of the individual plan attorney or firm of plan attorney. Huh? They're not going to guarantee that they're going to give you an honest lawyer or a proficient lawyer or an accurate lawyer or one who's resourceful? Did I read that right? That's what it says. In none of these instances does the insurer stand in the position of a guarantor as to the honesty, proficiency, accuracy, or resourcefulness of the individual plan attorney or firm of plan attorney. Accordingly, if any plan attorney to whom a member or covered person uses for a legal matter under this policy performs or omits an act which may give rise to a claim for malpractice, the member's or covered person's sole recourse will be against the individual plan attorney or plan attorney's firm that is handling that member's or covered person's legal matter. Huh? Did I read that right? They're not going to promise to give you an honest lawyer, a proficient lawyer, a competent lawyer? Seriously? If the lawyer we give you commits malpractice, don't talk to us. Talk to them. It's your, quote, sole recourse. And if you complain about this, don't talk to us. Talk to the state bar. Talk to that lawyer. Resolve it with them. We're washing our hands of that situation. Are you kidding me? They're going to guarantee you a lawyer, but they're not going to be responsible if the lawyer is not honest or proficient or accurate or resourceful or even competent. Talk to the lawyer. But yet there's more in this contract. On page 8, there's some fun stuff here. Look at Section 9, subsection E, H, and I. Section E, let me read it to you. Any member or covered person has the right to file a grievance with the Bar Association concerning any plan attorney's conduct. Huh? You mean we're letting you know up front, look, if you don't like our lawyer who we're going to provide for you, who you can't choose, you got the right to file a grievance with the Bar Association. But then it continues. Nothing in this policy shall be deemed to interfere with the Bar Association's right to discipline attorneys for a violation of any Bar Association canon or rule addressing honesty, integrity, or fair dealing. Sounds like they're not very confident in the lawyer that they're going to provide you under this policy. But then there's Section H. Don't worry about it. You still got Section H. Let me read it to you. In the event that a covered person does not agree with the plan attorney's advice or recommendations, the plan attorney may terminate the representation if done pursuant to the bar rules or code of professional responsibility, period. What? If you don't agree with the attorney that they give you, they can terminate representation so long as they're not violating any ethics rule. But then it continues. Member or covered person may, at all times, retain counsel other than the independent plan attorney provided under this policy. However, member and covered person shall be responsible for all attorney's fees, costs, expenses of this different counsel and, quote, shall receive no reimbursement under this policy. Sure, they're going to give you a lawyer. They're not going to tell you anything about how they're going to select them. They're not going to guarantee even that the person is honest. You got a complaint with that, they can fire you. And you can go to the bar. Don't talk to US LawShield. They want nothing to do with your complaints. But then there's Section I, reading from Section I, in about the middle of the paragraph. Quote, nothing in this policy is intended to impair the ability of member or covered person from addressing the conduct of a plan attorney with the State Bar Association. Oh, thanks. You mean, if I'm a member of US LawShield and I wind up in some kind of a problem and you guys give me a lawyer you don't guarantee the honesty, accuracy, fair dealing, competency, I can complain to the Bar Association. Then it goes on. All complaints about the legal services provided, professional misconduct, or claims that services were not provided, as the case may be, by a plan attorney, are required by this policy to be addressed with who? Solely with the plan attorney. Raise it with the plan attorney if you're not happy with the plan attorney. Wow, sounds like a fantastic policy. Okay, bottom line, US LawShield, you don't get to pick your lawyer. You have no idea who your lawyer is. You have no say in who the lawyer is. They don't tell you anything about the criteria. They don't even guarantee you're going to get a lawyer who's honest, trustworthy, or even competent. You got a problem with that? The lawyer can fire you. You can complain to the state bar, or at your own expense, you can do what you could have done even if you didn't sign up in the US LawShield program. You can hire a lawyer at your own expense. Okay, doesn't sound like such an exciting program to me, but that's just my take on US LawShield. This is my opinion after reading their contract. Read it for yourself. You don't have to take my word for it. Go on their website, read their contract, take a look at the sections that I highlighted, make your own judgment about their program. Also, make your own judgment about our program. Satisfy yourself what the Attorneys on Retainer program is about, and check out our law firm website, attorneysforfreedom.com. Look at the top right. It's in red. It says Attorneys on Retainer. Click that. You can find out everything you need to know about our program, which is actually administered by a law firm with real lawyers. So we don't have to have a bunch of crazy exclusions in our contract. Ours is pretty simple. You sign up, and if you get charged with a crime and we can claim self-defense on your behalf, we cover you. Pretty simple. Pretty easy. Feel free to call us. You can get a hold of me directly. I'm a real lawyer. You can contact me. It's Marc, M-A-R-C, at attorneysforfreedom.com. Peace.